Yo, what is going on YouTube? 𝗬𝗏𝗺 here. Today we are going over the best Call of Duty Vanguard settings to help you guys get more kills and make your game look as good as possible, and to help you guys be as comfortable and as fluid on the map as possible as well. I'm going to have exactly 1 minute of gameplay just to show you guys what my game looks like. We just got this flame knot. You're about to see us go completely off on the enemy team, but exactly 1 minute. So if you just want to get right into the settings right away, go ahead and skip to 1 minute, guys. We're going to be going over literally every single setting today, guys. Now I play with a controller, so I'm going to be going over my controller settings first, but we're also going to be going over all of our button layouts, our HUD palette, FOV, literally anything that you can think of. We're going to be going over that today, guys. As you guys can see, the flame knot is just absolutely insane. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think needs to change about the game. I think they really need to up the footstep sounds, because right now it's like non-existent. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Alright guys, so of course I am on controller, so my aiming input device is going to be set to controller. For my horizontal stick sensitivity and my vertical stick sensitivity, I'm rocking with 8.8. Most professional players play anywhere from 6.6 to 9.9. So if you haven't found anything comfortable for you yet, I would recommend trying to get used to like the professional sensitivity settings. Up to you guys though. Definitely 2020 is meant for like a more flashier play style in my opinion. All this other stuff is default. The first thing that I change is the aim response curve type. I set that to linear. Make sure you turn your controller vibration off. It will come on when you first get the game, so you do want to make sure you turn that off. It's just unnecessary vibrations, unnecessary stuff, taking you away from what you could be focusing on. And then everything else is pretty much just default until we get down to the dead zones. So the left trigger dead zone, you want to make sure you turn this down all the way down to 0. Basically, when you turn that number up, it means that you have to push your trigger in more in order for it to react. You want your triggers to be as reactive as possible, so you need to make sure your left trigger input is on 0 and your right trigger input is on 0 as well. And then we're gonna hop into the left stick and the right stick input sensitivity dead zones. So for my right stick input sensitivity dead zone, I set that to 10. My left stick, this is gonna be personal for you. My left stick has no stick drift at all, so I set that down to 0 as well. That's gonna be my movement stick, so I want that to be as reactive as possible. If you do have stick drift, I would recommend maybe turning it to 5, but again, if you have no stick drift, you want that to be at 0 as well. The right minimum stick input, that's gonna be the one that you aim with. This one I just keep it set at 10. I've heard a lot of like rumors and stuff like that, you know, if you have no dead zone at all, then you kind of lose aim assist. So having a little bit of dead zone there is playing it safe in my opinion. And then hopping right into our controller gameplay stuff, the target aim assist, you want to make sure this is on. This is default. I leave mine at default. You guys can mess around with that if you want. I think default has the strongest settings for aim assist though, so I think it's best to just leave that on. And then obviously make sure you have your ADS aim assist on. I can't imagine this would come off for anybody. Most of this stuff is just default stuff, guys. Yeah, this is all default. And then once we get to the automatic airborne mantle, you want to make sure you set this to partial, and then you need to push show more. And then where it says grounded mantle, you actually want to turn that off. This is going to make your slide cancels a little bit better. When this is on, for some reason your slide cancels they get caught sometimes. It makes the movement feel very unfluid. So just trust me on that one. The grounded mantle, turn it, the airborne automatic mantle, partial, and then turn them both off. Just trust me on that. Automatic tactical sprint, you need to have this on, 1 to save your controller and to save your thumbs, and 2 to have the best possible movement in this game. You need automatic tactical sprint, guys. Slide behavior, make sure you set that to tap. That's how you're going to be able to slide cancel and move more fluidly throughout the entire map. Everything else for me is all pretty much default in the controllers. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into our next category. Alright, so hopping into interface, like everything stays the same except for the horizontal HUD bounds. I actually changed this all the way down to 0 and the vertical HUD bounds all the way down to 0. Basically what that does is it brings your minimap in more. It brings all the information on your screen in more. That way you don't have to like turn your head as much. And then make sure your minimap shape is set to square, but it defaults to square. I turn skip intro movie on, and then everything else is pretty much just like default in the interface category. For the audio category, I like to turn my music all the way off, or I set it to like 5 or 10. Otherwise I find myself competing with the music. I know that it comes default at 100. Make sure you guys turn that music volume down, guys. Your friends will definitely thank you. And then if you go into sound effects volumes, you can actually turn the hit marker sound effects up if you guys want. I leave it at the default default. And then my audio mix, I have it set to headphones. The only way you're gonna get really good audio in this game, when they fix it hopefully, is if you have a mix amplifier with your headset. So if your headset does not have a mix amp, you need to go buy or save up for a headset that has a mix amplifier, because otherwise your audio just isn't going to be the same. You're not going to have that super good sound whore technology like we had in Modern Warfare. Now moving into our graphics, guys, we're going to start at the gameplay display. This is actually my favorite thing that I like to mess around with. This is why I took a day off of YouTube. I wanted to figure out what the best possible settings were. So the color filter, I set this to color filter 2. For me, it's the most vibrant, and I like everything to look more vibrant on the map. And then color filter target, I set it to both 𝗬𝗏 color palette. I set it to 𝗬𝗏𝗶𝗂𝗰𝘵. And then the only thing that I change is the enemy color. I change it to this like light pink color over here. When you get hit by the enemy, your hit markers are in light pink then, so it really sticks out on the on your game. So it makes it really easy when you get shot to figure out exactly where you got shot from. I feel like when it's set to default and it's at that little red, faded red color, that faded red color blends in with a lot of stuff. Field of view, you want to crank this bad boy all the way up, guys, 120, especially if you've been on console this whole time. You guys deserve field of view. Make sure you have ADS field of view set to affected. What that's going to do is anytime you're using a gun that's using a sight with less than 3.25 zoom, it's going to zoom in your screen a little bit when you zoom in. So it basically gives you like a free zoom when you're using iron sights. And this helps with visual recoil, like reducing visual recoil a lot. So make sure you guys have your field of view cranked up. Make sure you guys have your ADS field of view set to affected. And then this will default at 100% camera movement. You want to go ahead and set that to least, all the way down to 50%. And what that does is it greatly reduces the amount of camera shake that you have while you're playing. So you definitely want to make sure you put that down to least. I turn world motion blur and weapon motion blur off, but if you are a TikToker or like you're like a YY content creator, a lot of those people leave these two blurs on because it makes the game look a little bit more visually pleasing and cracked, if you will. And then moving right along into our quality for the graphics, I set the render resolution just to 100. And then all this stuff is default until I get down to tessellation. I turn the tessellation completely off. I just find that I don't need it and it doesn't really make a big difference when it's on, so I turn it off. Shadow map resolution, I make sure to turn this on very low because honestly, like there's really not a big difference, and then it just gives me a little bit more FPS as well. And then spot shadow quality, make sure you turn this down to low. It has a high effect on your VRAM, so make sure you turn that one down to low. That one is pretty important. And then screen space reflection, I turned it down to medium. I think it defaults on high, or it could default on depending on like how strong your computer is. And then depth of field, make sure you turn this off as well. This is basically another blur, so when you're zoomed in, it'll make things look like it'll make things look blurry that are out of your view. So you want to make sure you turn that off. It's just less blur. It's gonna make, you know, easier for you to beam people across the map. And then I set my VRAM usage all the way to 90%. I don't know if that's like the best thing for my computer, but I think my computer's pretty strong and it can handle it. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed everything today. Here's my display graphics. This is gonna vary for all of you guys. I think full screen's been working out really well for me. I'm averaging like 180 FPS right now, and I have a 165 hertz monitor with a 6700 XT, whatever, something like that. Frame rate limit, you want to make sure you set that to unlimited. Basically, if you have it set to custom, and even if your custom is like, it has like a really high cap, it will end up limiting it anyways. So you want to make sure it's just on unlimited. That way it just flows with maximum efficiency. And then everything else is pretty much just automatic default for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the settings today. Looking forward to some search and destroy videos on the channel real soon. GG's guys, 𝗬𝗺 out.
I think I changed brown, cause when the bitches hear this, they're gonna be like, wow. Smoking gas, living fast, wearing velvet. Looks like a 4-5 to the pelvis. Plenty money going around, I'm not selfish. And the ladies love me, Elvis. Smoking gas.